leader, that's coming from a playoff team, that can come in and step in day one and help out the young guys. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that at all.
We all know he's good, but
No,
what is
I
he
think
worth to you?
that's the right route.
Is he worth 15
Sorry, I was
mil?
just going to say, I think it's the right route to go down. As we said before, you see what happened with Bowman. He come in and literally re-energized the position he was playing, bringing a veteran guy in who's just been in the playoffs. And I mean, like, you can say about PFF's grades or whatever, but he's a decent footballer, and if he can get going for us, then he could really add something that we've really been lacking in the last couple of years in the secondary.
Definitely.
Hey, before you go, any Raider rumors you're hearing at the combine, or in general? I know just most of the rumors are probably useless at this point, but anything you think that makes sense?
The rumor that I've been hearing around here that's been buzzing a lot is Raiders taking Marcus Davenport at number 10. I think that Davenport has a lot of potential, extreme potential. He's really raw right now. And I think that what people have to look at with that pick is the Raiders did that in 2016 in taking Shalik Calhoun, who was another guy who was solid but was still somewhat raw, and they didn't know how to develop him. If you take Davenport at 10, people are going to expect production from him immediately. There's not going to be a grace period because of the fact that he's taken so high, and he's really he's a boom or bust guy, and his boom or bust grace period is a lot shorter than others. I don't think that in the Raiders situation, taking him at 10 is wise. If you can find a way to get him later in the round, I would consider it. I would consider it. If you could find a way to get him later in the round, such as if you make that trade with Buffalo for the 21 and 22 picks.
I was going to say about Buffalo trading back with them and taking them.
In that situation, I would consider it. But you also got to consider the fact that if you got that 21 pick and he's there at 21, then there's a good chance that a guy like Harold Landry is there at 21 too, or Bonnie or Okoronkwo. So
Landry,
I don't know.
He's more polished.
He's definitely more polished. You can't help injuries in this game. 2017, his injuries hurt him, but if he was healthy last year, we're talking about a guy that's guaranteed top 10. So that's the main rumor I've been hearing, and that's how I feel about it. I think that he's going to be a solid player. I think 3 years from down the road, 4 years down the road, we're looking at a freak type Jadeveon Clowney type guy. 3 to 4 years down the road.
Who are we talking about, Davenport or Landry?
He needs time.
Is that Davenport or Landry?
He needs time to develop.
Yes, definitely. He needs some time to develop, and if you can get him at round 2, late round 1, that takes the pressure off it, because people are going to look at the fact that the Raiders don't have a solidified inside guy, and they're going to say, listen, man, let's say that the Raiders don't bring back Bruce Irvin. If Bruce Irvin is gone, and whoever you take at that edge position, the pressure is on them. They got to produce at least 6 sacks next year. They have to, because you're automatically losing that with cutting Irvin. So the pressure is on them regardless. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to take a chance on a more polished guy. Even if you don't cut Irvin, you got to still have a guy that's versatile enough. That's what people aren't looking at. You're not in the 3-4 defense anymore. So if you're gonna cut Irvin, you got to have a guy that's polished enough to say, listen, we want you to rush the edge of it. We want you to drop back and cover tight ends. We've seen that Davenport is fast off the edge, but in terms of coverage, it's not there. You got to have that versatility with Gunther's defense. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure I would be okay with that.
Yeah, sorry, Malik. I actually quite like Ogbonnia Okoronkwo.
I like him a lot.
I think
is he too small though to play defensive end?
No,
not in Gunther's defense. He's not. I don't think he is. I think that you can put him at outside linebacker or put him on the edge, and he'll be just fine. Okay. He's a lot faster than the average tackle, and he's going to be able to drop back and cover a lot of guys. I think that he's fine. I think he's going to be fine, and that's another guy that if the Raiders traded back into the 20s, I would consider taking as well.
Could you see him fall into the second round?
I could see it because the one undeniable factor of the draft is that you got to expect the unexpected. Somebody in the top 10 is going to make a trade, and then somebody else in the top 15 is going to take a player a complete reach, and it's going to throw off everything that we think that we know about this draft. And the chips are going to fall, and somebody's going to overthink on a player, and somebody that's a first round talent is going to fall to the second. And that if we're talking about all of the guys in that first round, he's the guy that I could see fall into the second. And like you said, the first factor that you mentioned is his size. People aren't ignoring the tape. You got to look at the tape here. He played the talent that he played at against in this season and last season, but in the college football playoffs, the talent that he played against, the way that he dominated. You got to look at the tape here, and in terms of being an athlete, he's up there. That's the guy that people are going to overthink on. Him and Shaquem Griffin are going to be the two guys that people are going to overthink on, I believe, the most defensively in this draft.
I call him Ogbo just because it's easier. But but I would be very happy if in the first round. I mean, I wasn't so keen on it at first, just because I thought that we could do with really an edge rusher in the first round, but obviously the best one, Chubb, will be off the board. So if I'm going defensive line, I'm going Vita Vea, first round. And then in the second round, if someone like Ogbo is available, that's a no-brainer for me as well, because then that solidifies that sort of area of the pitch in 2 rounds, and then you've got the rest of the draft to assess other positions. I mean, that's just my take on it. I think that would work heavily in our favour to do them sort of positions first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When is the bench press for the cornerbacks? Is that coming up now?
Yes, it is. So I'm actually gonna head back in and catch these. I actually just seen the group walk past me, so cool. I'm gonna head in and
plug your site, man, before you go. Plug your site. What do you write?
So,
let us know.
I'm writing for full press coverage, and you can check that out and follow me on Twitter at OB1 OBEE the number 1 NE. And I thank you guys again for having me on.
Thank you for coming in, man. It was a pleasure.
We're gonna do a live draft special during the draft, and
okay.
I'm with obviously JB. I don't know if he's with me on this one, but we'd love to have you as one of the guests during the live show that we're going to do on draft day.
Sure, of course. If I'm at the draft and I can actually hear you guys, I'll definitely be on. Definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for
man.
your time.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Alrighty. Gavin, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
That was a good interview, right? We got a lot of content.
Yeah, that was an excellent interview.
Hey, I'm looking at, man, because we're recording while the combine for the D-line is going on. Shaquem Griffin ran a 4.38. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely nuts.
Just crazy. Yeah. I think he's just solidified himself as one of the top talents in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy from Payne from Alabama, he moved pretty well. He ran under 5, so he can move. 40 time isn't that I don't care about that, but I'm waiting.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
big dude as well.
He's a big dude. I'm waiting for the other numbers to come out later. We'll talk about it next time. Maybe a wrap-up show. Yeah. We'll do a wrap-up show. But talk about...
Yeah, of course.
Man, the first 2 days, wrap it up. Who really impressed you? Obviously, the Penn State running back, Saquon Barkley, just in every drill, he killed it, right? But besides that, I think Royce Freeman from Oregon really helped himself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Barkley is the obvious one. It's all the hype, Barkley this, Barkley that. And I get that completely. He's the pin-up of the NFL's combine, the draft. But don't forget these other guys on the list.
No, not at all.
Because some of these have put themselves in the window massively. You're talking about your Kalen Bellage. I can't pronounce his name. Kalen Bellage. I thought he had a really good showing. Then you've got Rashad Penny, I've touched on before. Naeem Hines. I mean, there's some of these guys in the running back category that have really propelled themselves up teams' boards. Some of them may be down the boards, but it depends on how each team kind of looks at each player.
Yeah, I think you have to just set your board and stick to it. But there's so many things. Yeah. You still have free agencies. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but D-line seems very possible in round one.
Yeah, I mean, in the other positions like offensive tackle and guard, I mean, you've got like Hernandez who did 37 reps of the bench press, Quentin Nelson who had 35 reps. I mean, they're probably the first round.
Vita Vea killed it, man. Guards. 41 or 42 reps. Yeah. Harrison Phillips did 43 reps, and 2 of his reps were disqualified, so he actually did around 45, which is ridiculous. Which is almost the high. He is
one hell of a strong man, and he could really solidify someone's D-line, I'm telling you. He's very good.
If he was a little better in pass rush moves, man, he would go round one. It's just his lack of... Because it doesn't matter how good you are at attacking the run, because it's a pass-happy game. If you're not rushing the quarterback, you're not going round one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a run stuffer. He'll stop anything in his lane. But obviously, we're looking for someone who can do a little bit more than that. But if you're looking just for a run stuffer, he's probably the best on the list.
Exactly. What else we got? Oh, did you see Vic Tafur was mentioned that the Raiders met with a couple of tackles? Oklahoma's left tackle and left tackle Mike McGlinchey from Notre Dame. I don't know if that means anything, but would you be shocked if Raiders took Mike McGlinchey at number 10?
Yes and no. Yes, because I feel like that's a position that doesn't need addressing straight away right now. It's not like a massive problem. We've got players who can fill in there, and we've got a depth in that position. But also, they might be thinking, right, well, this could be Penn's last year, so do we bring someone in to be an understudy? So it's kind of... I would be shocked because I don't think that's where they need to go first round. But at the same time, I wouldn't be unhappy just because he is a very good young player.
And he was coached by probably the best offensive line coach in college football, who's now the offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. So I wouldn't be, because we don't really have a right tackle, and Donald Penn is getting older. So don't I wouldn't be shocked. It's not a sexy pick, but I wouldn't be shocked. He can play right tackle now and dominate it, and take over for Donald Penn next year and dominate it.
Hey, I don't care if it's a sexy pick or not. If he's going to do a job,
right,
then that's all that matters. You need every single player along that line to perform week in, week out. And he's sort of one of those caliber players who stands out as being one of those guys who, if he has a poor game, will be disappointed and rectify it the next week. And that's what scouts look for. They look for that personality of a player.
And let's talk about the other one that Raiders met with, Orlando Brown. I did not like his combine numbers. Everything was pretty bad.
It's horrific. But,
now, bench press isn't the only thing that...
Zero sacks.
No, yeah, exactly.
0 sacks last year he allowed.
So I would have to go back on the tape and watch him go up against top competition. But it still looks bad when you're running the slowest. Because if you're running the slowest, that means you can't get down the field and block as fast as the coaches would like you to, There's other things. So the explosiveness that he showed in the broad jump, his broad jump was like an average dude, you know what I mean? You can pick a guy out of the street, say do a broad jump, he had the same thing.
I'm going to pay special attention to his pro day, if he's doing any drills on his pro day. Because I think sometimes in the combine environment, some of these players just perform. You know, and
Yeah,
you
no,
know, everyone's allowed to have an off day. You know, everyone's human.